Hi, English 3, Mr. Rowley here. I'm out on my front porch this afternoon to tell you a little bit about how to take Cornell notes. Um, the Cornell style of note-taking was developed by a Cornell University professor years ago because he discovered that students in his classes were taking notes and they were just kind of writing everything down without really processing the information. And so he designed this system to try to help students incorporate the information, the knowledge into their existing knowledge. That's really how you learn, is that you take the new information and you attach it somehow to something that you already know. And that goes all the way back to language acquisition. When you're little kids, when you learn a new word, it attaches to something that you already know. Think about the word the. If you don't know a word like apple or some other noun, the has no meaning. So the Cornell method of note-taking is designed to help you actually attach the new information to something that you already know. Remember, the goal with the research paper is to write out of your head, to have what you're writing actually be the product of knowledge that you actually have, that you've acquired, as opposed to just being kind of a patchwork of source material. So let me explain the basics here. Part of it is helping you read actively. It encourages you to determine what's most important. You'll actually be consciously doing that as you're taking notes here. And also it'll help you keep track of the source material. I'm going to ask you to use a separate document for each source. It's replacing the old system of note cards, which probably you guys never did, but your parents or other teachers may have done this, where you take each fact down on a separate note card. This is actually a lot easier than that system, although I will tell you that the Cornell system of note-taking is going to take you longer than just the one step of writing stuff down, but hopefully it will be more meaningful than the old system here. So it looks like this. The document here, you'll take a document. I've got a template I'm going to ask you to use, but in the old days, you'd literally take a sheet of notebook paper and just draw a big L like this. And so step one is you take the notes here, and then in a separate step, you go back then, and you actually take notes on your notes. So you use the left-hand margin here. You write main ideas, questions, and you're processing actively the information that you've taken at that point, and possibly putting some notes in there for next steps. And then at the bottom, you summarize the whole thing, and that can be short. A couple sentences is all you need here. And then this template doesn't show that, but I'm going to ask you to put the full citation at the bottom. So there are actually 4 parts to the Cornell system that I'm asking you to use in this class here. So here's a very simple example, types of matter. So here are the notes, here are the keywords, the notes on the notes, and then here's the summary. Okay, and again, I'm going to ask you to put a full citation at the bottom here. Here's another example of that. So here's the template that I'm going to ask you to use. Here's another example of one that's very successful here. So you see this person has taken pretty thorough notes in the boxes here. And again, you want to take all the notes first. That's step 1. Then step 2, notes on the notes. So notice she has, why did he do this? How are they considered dangerous? I'm confused. That's probably something worth saying too. If something doesn't make sense to you, again, things that you want to follow up on, new questions that are provoked, you can put those over here. That's step 2. Summary at the bottom, and then here's the full citation. And notice how this is the full citation. It's author, title of the article, the publication it came from, and then the date it was accessed, as well as the date it was published, and the URL. Those are all required parts of the citation here, okay? So the databases, remember that the citation is already done for you. If you're in EBSCO, when you get to the description of the article, you look over in the right margin, click Cite, scroll down to MLA. You do not have to create your own citation there, okay? I hope that makes sense. I'm going to be asking you to turn in 4 Cornell Notes documents on your topic. You probably want to read more than 4 sources, but I'm asking you to turn in 4 different sources, 1 Cornell Notes document for each source on your topic over the next couple weeks here. One other tip here, as you're reading, remember you wrote the problem statement and research questions? And by the way, be sure you do that first before you start taking notes. Okay, the problem statement and research questions sets the foundation for what you're looking for, okay? So you're defining what the problem is that you're researching. And then the questions, that's actually what you're looking for when you research, okay? If you don't have really clear questions that you're trying to answer, you may find that you're just kind of drifting from one source to the next without really knowing what you're looking for, and then knowing whether you ever found it. So be sure you're really actually trying to answer some questions that you've asked, okay? I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions.